I'm sitting here with Carlisle Powell, the president of the Nevis Cricket Association. And the Nevis Cricket Association has been hosting an entertaining and truly invigorating tournament, T20 tournament. And over the last several weeks, we have seen some really exciting matches. And I'm telling you, truly exciting matches. Some of the players have certainly come to the fore and have excelled, batters, bowlers, and we have seen some super catches. And I'm sure that Carlisle would attest to that. Some super fielding efforts, etc. And so we have had a very good tournament. The crowd would have been very pleased. But we are down to that point where the pot is bubbling. It's down to semi-finals and then, of course, the finals. Carlisle, in a nutshell, how do you see the tournament up to this point?
Well, close. All Stars won all of their 7 matches, so they finish on 14 points, unbeaten. And then the rest of the teams, we had 3 teams finishing on 9 points. So they had to be separated by net run rate. And then the other team that was just outside of the playoffs, Highlights, finished on 8 points. So you have All Stars with 14, Empire on 9 points with a net run rate of 1.715, Calypso on 9 points with a net run rate of 1.397, and Youths of Nevis with 9 points and a net run rate of 0.933. So separated only by net run rate. So this weekend, we will see All Stars, team number 1, playing against Youths of Nevis. That is at the first game. And for the semi-finals and finals, the first game starts at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
Because we want to make sure that we get in the full 20 overs. And if there is a tie or anything like that, we have time and light for the super over.
Okay.
And then in the second game, we will see Calypso against Empire. Empire being the higher placed team. And for the knockout and the finals, the team listed first, higher in the rating, will have the chance to spin the coin. Okay? We have already allocated the umpires for this weekend as well. And so in the first game, it will be Frank Munzak and Patrick Newton. And in the second game, it will be Wendell Wallace and myself who will be featuring in those games there. And so that is what is going to be happening this weekend.
And those games will be played on Sunday.
On Sunday.
At the VOJN.
At the VOJN. And the very next week Sunday is finals day.
At the same VOJN.
At the same VOJN grounds. And then you will see the 2 losers from this weekend coming up against each other at 10 o'clock in the morning. And then finals will be at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
No, Carlisle. In the match played on Sunday, we saw a couple of interesting things. For one, there was a super catch by Duan Webb at first slip. There was a super catch by, there was a what you call it, like a little show by Pemberton, Jamai Pemberton. 3 sixes consecutively in 1 over. And as if to say that wasn't good enough. 4 consecutive sixes in the next over. We've seen some really hot stuff in this tournament.
And I tell you something, there was a time when the Calypso cricket team inning was in a bit of a shambles.
Early.
Because they had lost their top batters.
The top 3 batters.
Jamai showed great patience in getting in. The pitch was good. Nice and dry and hard. It was a good pitch. He showed great patience getting in. And then he timed his onslaught perfectly.
The only disappointment by Carlisle is that he didn't time his century well.
True.
The last 2 balls, he refused a single off the penultimate ball. And then the last ball, I don't know if he thought there was another over. He just pushed it and ran for a single look as if he was hoping for another over.
Well, you see, the umpires kept saying to them, cutoff point is at 247. So they knew. And we kept saying to them 247, and then we said to them, this is going to be the final over.
Wow.
So we kept them updated as to what was happening.
So you think he possibly lost it with that last ball? I mean, you need...
I think he didn't know his score.
Oh.
And I think his teammates
should be blamed then.
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
I think they failed him. I don't think that they told him what his score was.
Because he looked really crestfallen when I think he realized at the end of it that, hey, I'm not going to make that 100.
He deserved the 100. He batted beautifully.
Yeah. Well, Carlisle, in terms of the lesser teams though, it's not that they played all that badly either. Your thoughts on
No.
the lesser teams?
You saw good performances from those, what you call the lesser teams as well. But more importantly than that, their consistency. They came out week after week and made sure that they were represented. We only had one game that was forfeited, and that was yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, other than that, every team turned out week after week, and this is coming at a time when we are returning from COVID shutdown and all sports had to be shelved. So the Cricket Association is extremely excited about this. There was a lot of young talent on show too. One of my challenges is that there are some younger players who didn't get as many games as they might have had. And so this is something that some of the clubs would have to consider going forward. Exposing players, I mean, is all well and good to have a deep bench, but you also want your players to play.
And I'm sure that you're very happy that some of the females got exposed
Yes.
and stood up pretty stoutly to
Yes,
the men.
yes, indeed, and congratulations to Jets who in quite a few games had 5 females playing.
Yeah.
You know, so that is saying something about the involvement of the ladies here in Nevis, and we're going to have to give them some particular attention.
Now, Carlisle, my understanding is that there's a high possibility of live streaming of the semi-finals. It looks as if it's going to be a really wonderful day come Sunday once the weather holds.
Once the weather holds, and you know, the guys at both at E.T. Willett Park and VOJ have been giving us some quality pitches. You know, so I just hope that the weather holds and that we'll be able to have some really good, exciting cricket. And we set it up this way so that you did not have semi-finals on Saturday and finals on Sunday. We wanted the teams to have a week break so that if you have injuries, you can recover. If players couldn't get off consecutive days to play, they could have a week apart. And, you know, one thing about this tournament, the teams knew early exactly how it would pan out. It was always 1 against 4, 2 against 3, and we said who would play the early game. The first place team will have the opportunity to play early so that you have a longer rest. If you were to win going into the finals.
Deservedly, yeah.
Yes, because you place first, you deserve that extra break. That is not saying who will win on the day.
Right, right. Finally, Carlisle, there's a prediction that some of these big teams in the Big Four may well be affected by the fact that some of the players may be going off to Antigua. Do you see that as a problem?
I haven't looked at that, but the biggest of the big teams is All Stars.
Okay.
But All Stars also has the deepest bench. You understand? So even though they have players who are professional players and who will be heading off with the Leewards team, they shouldn't be adversely affected because they have a very deep bench. You know,
Okay.
so it would be sad that people like Ross and Kian wouldn't be able to play in the finals because they would be off in Antigua were they to win. But they have an opportunity to send their teams to the finals by performing in the semi-finals.
Great. Okay. So we look forward to some really exciting, well, the 2 next weekends, semi-finals and finals. They should be really exciting.
Should be
matches at
cracking.
VOJ. So
Yep.
we look forward to that, and we want to say congratulations, Carlisle, to the organization of your association. I think you have done a wonderful job. Your
We tried.
team,
We tried.
oh.
And I tell you something. For the finals and the semi-finals, we are telling the teams by way of a memo that they will have today that we want the toss to be taken 15 minutes before the scheduled game time.
Okay.
And we want them to come prepared to do a 5-minute interview with Curtis Morton.
Okay.
You know, so
Right.
we are setting it up so that the guys know at the next level, this is what they're going to do.
Exactly.
They're going to be tossing early. And if Curtis wants to do an interview, he will be there with his camera and asking the questions
No
for
problem.
5 minutes.
No problem.
And then we start promptly on time.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, we look forward to some exciting stuff. Carlisle, well, I can't put you on a spot. We'll have to wait and see who those 2 teams will be making it into the.
I'll be umpiring in a semi-final, so I am neutral.
Okay, well, all the best, and we look forward to some exciting.
Thank you very much.
No fees for the spectators.
No.
Still free of cost.
No, it's still free of cost.
Okay.
Just bring some money and support the bar.